welcome to Left, Right and Centre. I'm Nidhi Razdan. Well, Aam Aadmi Party's chief Arvind Kejriwal came out with a new bombshell idea today. Let's have new currency notes with the images of goddess Lakshmi and Lord Ganesh on one side, he said, as he took his appeal to Hindu voters to the next level ahead of the Gujarat elections.
आज मेरी केंद्र सरकार से प्रधानमंत्री जी से अपील है, भारतीय करेंसी के ऊपर एक तरफ गांधी जी की तस्वीर है, वो वैसे ही रहनी चाहिए, लेकिन दूसरी तरफ श्री गणेश जी की और श्री लक्ष्मी जी की तस्वीर भारतीय करेंसी के ऊपर लगाई जाए। जैसा मैंने कहा कि हमें अपनी अर्थव्यवस्था को सुधारने के लिए, भारत को आगे तरक्की देने के लिए बहुत सारे एफर्ट्स की ज़रूरत है, लेकिन उसके साथ साथ देवी देवताओं के आशीर्वाद की भी ज़रूरत है।
Well, the BJP has scoffed at this, calling it a political drama. But just to remind everyone, we actually happen to be a secular democratic country. This is not something our constitution allows, which is exactly what the Delhi High Court said some years ago, saying that the constitution does not permit coins with religious symbols. But politically, this is the latest in a series of moves that shows how Kejriwal and the Aam Aadmi Party are making majoritarianism the heart of their election campaign. And that is why the Aam Aadmi Party is silent when it comes to the issue of, for instance, the release of Bilkis Banu's rapists. This is why they stayed silent on the Shaheen Bagh protests before the Delhi polls. It explains their hardline stand on Rohingya Muslim refugees, their support for a Ram temple in Ayodhya, and their support to the dilution of Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir. The question is, will this competitive Hindutva work for the AAP on the ground? Well, joining us first, the AAP spokesperson Priyanka Kakkar is with us tonight. Also, our columnists and commentators. We have senior journalist Ashutosh, Tehseen Poonawala, Zainab Sikander, Professor Govardhan Das from the BJP also with us. Thank you all for joining us. Priyanka Kakkar, is this just another gimmick to appease Hindu voters in Gujarat?
Nidhi, good evening to everyone. Nidhi, I don't know why this question has been asked of us. I have it from reliable source that the Bharatiya Janata Party proposes to publish Savarkar's pictures on currency notes, and that is the reason they're objecting to our suggestion of printing Ganesh ji and Lakshmi ji's pictures on the currency notes. Nidhi, we all 2 days ago, I think all of India would have done the Ganesh Aarti and the Lakshmi ji ki Aarti. And, currently the situation, the economic situation is such that the economic advisor to the PM also recently wrote that if you earn 25,000 rupees in the country today, you are in the top 10%. And, we need blessings. We need, I'm not saying that's all, we are not at all saying this is all, but it is part of a culture. When you start something auspicious, when you want something to work, whether it is a child who's writing an exam, they will write an Om or a Jai Mata Di on the exam paper.
Priyanka Kakkar, we're a secular country. Our constitution doesn't allow this. So why is the AAP raising the pitch on this?
Nidhi,
you know that. Mr. Kejriwal knows that.
Nidhi, when you mentioned the High Court judgment, the same High Court judgment also said it does not hurt religious sentiments to do so. This is very much in the domain of the central government. Laws are passed in the parliament. They are shifting the onus onto the RBI. In other debates, I've seen that. But, they did not have to, I think they circumvented quite a bit of laws when they did demonetization. And really question should be asked of them, what is their objection to printing Ganesh ji and Lakshmi ji's photo on one
because let me just very simply say, because it's not, this is not prescribed in our constitution. It's unconstitutional. We, as I repeat, we are a secular democratic republic. We are not a Hindu Rashtra yet, and we may or may not get there, but we are still a secular country. So on what basis do you say this, and why don't you give concrete suggestions on how the economy can do better instead of gimmicks like this? Simple question. Why doesn't the AAP just give actual suggestions on what the finance minister and what the government should do?
I think US is the epitome of democracy, and their currency note states, in God we trust.
We are not the US.
No, I'm talking about secularism.
Let's talk about our constitution.
Sorry, I meant the epitome of secularism. The US is the epitome of secularism.
No, not really.
And it says, well, it stands much higher, I would think, than India currently, when the red flag are religious practices the way we are headed. So,
which you don't speak about, which the AAP doesn't talk about. What have you said on Bilkis Banu? What have you said on Shaheen Bagh? What have you said?
if we want to digress, Nidhi,
See,
Bilkis
that's the
Bano
point.
is a...
You will
Let
not
me
speak up
speak
for
then.
issues that
I
affect
am
minorities.
speaking. If you will let me. Bilkis Bano is an issue which is now pending in the Supreme Court on the issue that the
That's a very
Honorable
safe
Supreme
reply.
Court... No, let me finish. You will have to let me finish. That the Honorable Supreme Court erred in holding that the Gujarat government could have taken a decision. That is where the matter is pending. That is a very, it is a jurisdictional issue which is pending.
That's
Whether
not a
the Maharashtra
condemnation, but anyway. Ashutosh, does this actually help the AAP in Gujarat? And the point is, even if it does, what does it say about the state of our politics? That we've come to a point where competitive Hindutva politics has led us to this point where you have the leader of a prominent political party asking for Hindu gods and goddesses to be on our currency notes. Ashutosh.
Nidhi, frankly speaking, I can't believe this. I just heard Aam Aadmi Party's spokesperson what she's saying today. And I really don't believe that once upon a time I was with this political party. This is the political party which started in 2012. And they started with a slogan, we are here to change politics. What happened to that? I think that this is the level of politics which Arvind Kejriwal has resorted to do. Then it's better to wind up the party and go somewhere else. I think this is the brazen communalism and nothing else. And the country has already seen what happens when the religion is mixed with politics. Now, if this is what the discourse is, and look what he is saying. He is not saying just only to put the Lakshmi and Ganesh on the notes. He is also saying that if you put this, the economy will improve. So, I think, has anybody in Aam Aadmi Party read Constitution? Do they have any notion of the spirit of the Constitution? Have they read the preamble of the Constitution? Have they thought about that the scientific temper has to be the basic creed of our Constitution? But if this is the way to improve our economy, then I think this suggestion should be sent to the Rishi Sunak and Narendra Modi directly, and by next year our economy will be the number one economy in the world. This is ridiculous.
Priyanka Kakkar.
I think this is the worst kind of politics which I can understand it coming from the Aam Aadmi Party, nothing else. And no disrespect to Priyanka. Priyanka, I can understand her because she's a spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party. She has to follow letter and spirit. And these days, mind it, the brief which is given to them is verbatim has to be reproduced. If you just digress, you are removed.
Priyanka Kakkar.
See, I think we are the only party. We are not saying if we are talking about putting Ganesh ji and Lakshmi ji's pictures on the currency note, we are not saying that please don't add 19128 classrooms in Gujarat. We are not saying that please don't do Nasha Bandi and then sell illegal liquor. We are still talking about schools. We are talking about, I can talk about schools, hospitals, what we have done, all of that today. We are in fact the first party in the country which has also used the taxpayer money and sent the elderly of the state to Tirth Yatras. We've also done that. Please don't look at this in isolation. Science and faith can go hand in hand. We at Aam Aadmi Party are a bunch of people who are all either Oxford pass outs or Ivy League graduates or IRS, and we all believe in our faith. And I am absolutely...
It is not everybody's faith in this country. Yes, it is of people of the Hindu faith. But again, I repeat, we are not a Hindu country. What have you reduced the discourse to? Zainab Sikander, the point is, this is not something that is in isolation. I said it right at the beginning. You have to see it in the context of the AAP remaining silent and not commenting on issues that it sees as uncomfortable politically. So, whether it's talking about Bilkis's rapist, Shaheen Bagh, any CAA, these are like no-go areas because they don't want to be seen to be any less majoritarian when they're competing with the BJP. Are they, Zainab?
Absolutely. To be honest, Aam Aadmi Party is treading a very slippery slope, and they don't realize they are competing with the giant, who's brought Hindutva to India, who's brought majoritarian politics to India, which is the BJP. They cannot compete against, the image of the Bhumi Pujan, Modi ji sitting and doing the Bhumi Pujan of Ayodhya, or, the Kashi Vishwanath corridor, or his pictures in Kedarnath. If Arvind Kejriwal ji thinks that he's going to, give an equal sort of competition to Prime Minister Modi when it comes to the game of Hindutva, trust me, he's going to lose the match, because BJP is the winner of Hindutva. They've coined the term, they've brought it to India, and they have made it mainstream. I personally think what Aam Aadmi Party is trying to do is kill two birds with one stone. What they're trying to do is, because the BJP in Gujarat is putting this entire notion of that Aam Aadmi Party is anti-Hindu, considering what their Gujarat chief, the video that had gone viral about him making, objectionable remarks about Hindu gods and rituals, and even their previous Mr. Rajendra Pal Gautam's remarks, who then resigned. Based on that, they are trying to go on the offensive and make BJP look anti-Hindu. So they are suggesting a task to the BJP, to the central government, which they know they will never do. They will never put the faces of gods and goddesses on currency notes. They know the central government won't do it.
And that is why Aam Aadmi Party is making. That, Tehseen Poonawala, the point is, how does this become political discourse? Where do we draw the line? Yes, you see all kinds of absurd things that are said, promised, and all boundaries are crossed when election campaigns take place. But when do we stop and take a step back and say, what are we doing here? Is that this moment?
Good evening, Nidhi. Thank you so much for having me on the show. And at the onset, a very happy belated Diwali to all my fellow panelists and to all your viewers. Nidhi, let me start with the legal point. आम आदमी पार्टी वो एक कानूनी भाषा में होते 420 कर रहे हैं IPC when you con somebody. This is absolute 420. And let me tell you why. The onus of printing the currency note vests only with the RBI. It does not vest with the Union government. It does not vest with the Honorable Prime Minister of India or the Parliament of India. Here's a currency note. The signature on that is of the RBI governor, not of the Honorable Prime Minister of India or any other politician. So as Zainab rightly said, it's not possible for anyone to do it. So one, this is completely lying to people. What completely breaks my heart is in 2022, rather than talking about how India by 2047 and subsequently by 2100 can become the third largest GDP in the world with amongst the highest per capita income amongst the G8 nations, how we can become with climate change a service export oriented industry, rather than talking about how we can encash on Web 3.0 and the blockchain technology and create job opportunities for youngsters. We are talking about issues that will completely try and polarize the elections or try and show I am more religious than you are more religious. Now let me come to a larger issue that I want to raise. The Aam Aadmi Party is continuously indulging in this sort of behavior because they believe that they can compete with the BJP on the Hindutva turf. But that's not going to happen. And the fact is the Aam Aadmi Party was born out of a revolution where a lot of citizens thought that they are going to bring in different politics into our country, different polity into our country. When they do what is tried and tested, whether it is Satyendra Jain who's been accused of corruption but you don't step down, whether it is now that you don't take a stand on issues that are morally correct, whether it is Bilkis Banu or Ram Rahim, when you come and indulge into majoritarian politics, you're doing what the BJP, which is the winner, is already doing. Yeah. Why will somebody choose a carbon copy over the original? They won't choose the carbon copy over the original. Therefore the original already exists.
Yeah, exactly. Professor Govardhan Das, the question though is that what the Gujarat campaign is going to be complete? I mean, is this now basically come down to competitive Hindutva? Who is more Hindu?
Okay, Nidhi, good evening. Good evening to you and good evening to all my fellow panelists. So when I was listening Kejriwal, although I was listening, I thought I'm listening something very different. It sounded like me. Looks like a ghost is chanting Ram Nam. One thing. Anyway, I have 3 points to make. Number one, don't take Kejriwal very seriously. He's a habitual liar, and he says one thing and he does very different. Second thing, if he is really serious, why his MPs are not bringing the bill on the parliamentary floor and get it passed? Number two. Number three, recently the AAP minister, what's his name, Rajendra Pal Gautam, what he attended a mass conversion gathering and pledged not to worship any Hindu god and goddess. So does it mean the Kejriwal and his team and the cabinet is not aligned in one string? So there are these 3 points. I'm very surprised. So I'm expecting some answer from the AAP spokesperson.
No, but my question to you is that is the BJP going to counter this now in Gujarat with more of the same,
See,
is this ultimately about appealing to
what
Hindu voters? What is the poll
so
pitch?
let AAP try to polarize, but in BJP is sabka saath sabka vikas. We don't believe in polarization. We work for all citizens of India. That's it. That's it. So basically, AAP is trying to polarize, but that's not going to happen.
आज तो मैंने सब कुछ सुन लिया because आप कह रहे हैं that the BJP is not polarizing. Somewhere I read today that the AAP told the BJP to go to Pakistan, if it's not able to put Bhagwanji on the currencies. So really, I mean, my ears are on fire today. But Ashutosh, just let me ask you before I take this back to Priyanka Kakkar. What is happening on the ground in Gujarat? Because you've been writing a lot about this. Now, the fact that, Arvind Kejriwal has said this today, is this, as Zainab Sikander says, a bit of a defensive position that he's taking to appeal to Hindu voters, or is he actually making the BJP a little nervous on the ground?
See, Nidhi, it is also surprising that BJP till now has not denied it. They should have openly come out and said, no, we are not going to put Lakshmi and the Ganesh on the note. There's some categorical explanation should have been come from the BJP. The government has not come out openly. So I think they are also in some kind of confusion with what to do about it. And that's where the problem lies. The problem is that this is directly related with the Gujarat elections, and Aam Aadmi Party realizes that if it has to cut some ice in Gujarat, then it has to present itself as a somebody who's a thorough Hindu leader, and Aam Aadmi Party believes in Hinduism. It is not surprising that you ask a question about Bilkis Bano, and the Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson did not react to that, and rather she just trying to avoid the question. If a political party has no view about Bilkis Bano, then that political party should realize that from where it started and from it has come. So it's a dangerous game of mixing politics with mixing religion with politics and trying to garner Hindu vote. But whether it will cut with the Gujarat voters, I do not know. Ideally, because today the Gujarat is poised with two Hindu parties, two Hindu leaders. One is a team A, another is the team B. If Arvind Kejriwal is trying to be the junior Modi, then the people would like to have a better Hindu leader, and the credentials of Narendra Modi as a Hindu leader is much better, much bigger than what Arvind Kejriwal can think and imagine. So why the people of Gujarat should vote for Aam Aadmi Party and Kejriwal? That's my worry. I think if we had created a parallel narrative, then probably he could have scored over the Congress party and would have garnered some vote. But if this is the route he is taking, I am keeping my fingers crossed whether it will work with the Gujarat voters.
Priyanka Kakkar, do you want to respond to that? What does the AAP stand for if it doesn't have an identity of its own any longer? If you're going to become the B team of the BJP, why will people go for team B when you've got team A?
Because we don't indulge in communal violence and we don't kill people to obtain our objectives. One, that is a very major difference. Secondly, responding to Ashutosh sir, I have the same view on Bilkis Bano as I have on Ankita Bhandari. No woman in this country is safe under the BJP regime. It has from UP to Kanyakumari, all women are unsafe wherever there is a BJP government, including Delhi, whenever there is law and order under BJP. Now, coming back to what the BJP spokesperson said, Nidhi, I strongly disagree with his views. When they go on the ground, PM sir says, Shamshan chahiye ya Kabristan chahiye. So it is very clear who polarizes and who doesn't. Also, this is the anti-Hindu party. BJP is actually an anti-Hindu party which has just broken 350 temples in Kashi to make a shopping mall, which has just broken temples in Jaipur to again make a shopping mall, and also in Gujarat in C.R. Patil's ji Kshetra to favoring a builder. They have broken temples there too. They have written on 5th of July to the central government has written to Delhi government on 5th of July seeking permission to break 53 temples in Delhi. So this is very important that they be asked that why do they have an objection to putting Ganesh ji's and Lakshmi ji's pictures on the currency notes.
Why is this even a suggestion? What do you stand for? What is the AAP's identity today? I mean, as Ashutosh asked, there was a time when you guys would speak up on any issue and every issue that affected all communities in this country. Why are you so quiet now?
No, I just spoke about Agnita. I just said that Ankita Bhandari and Bilkis
because you
Bano
feel the need to make an equivalence always.
Well, it is.
You can't just outright say you were silent on Shaheen Bagh. You're silent on CAA. You
Are you
supported the
suggesting-
dismemberment of the
Are
only
you
Muslim
suggesting
majority
that
state
the
in this
Dalit
country?
women of Hathras is safe under the BJP government? Are you suggesting that? It is a given. You please take law and order in any part of the country where law and order is under
Tehseen
BJP.
Poonawala wants
and
to come
women
in.
suffer.
Tehseen.
Didi, one question that was raised rightfully on your show is about our constitution. And I don't want to go into details of our constitutional debates or the debates in our constitutional assembly. But there is a reason why they didn't mention God in our constitution, and our constitutional assembly elaborated on that. But let me just tell your viewers one thing. The first three words of our constitution is we the people. We the people, hum Bharat ke log, are higher than any precedent, Prime Minister, Supreme Court. The Constitution gives us the highest accord. It is embarrassing and insulting that the Honorable Chief Minister of Delhi, Shri Arvind Kejriwal, thinks that we the people are this stupid that we believe that putting a watermark will solve our economic problems rather than having a concrete
Nobody
solution
said
of
that.
how to take India forward. Well, obviously, because you've seriously not given any concrete solution on how to take India forward. When you talk about the US and in God we trust, the Article 7 of the US Constitution talks about God. The Indian Constitution does not. And there are reasons why our forefathers thought not to talk about God or bring God into our constitution. And those reasons have been elaborated very well in the Constituent Assembly debates. So Priyanka, my humble request to you is, rather than focusing on watermarks, can we focus on how our children can make a mark in the world, global mark, how we can export? You have an AQI in Delhi that has completely fallen. It's due to stubble burning in Punjab. You're in power in Punjab. What are you doing about it? Except for water boundary. You have a liquor policy in Delhi that you've withdrawn. What are you doing about it? Can we talk about issues rather than watermarks?
Priyanka Kakkar.
Tehseen, I think we've always spoken about issues, and that does not take away from the fact that when we speak about education, when we speak about jobs, when we speak about infrastructure, we also speak about what our faith. I don't see any harm there. Also, there is no water boundary. I have mentioned, I can tell you, where if you want to talk about the AQI, in Punjab yesterday, there is a plant that was running on on trial basis, which has been inaugurated yesterday. It is the Asia's largest bioenergy plant, which has been set up yesterday. That has happened. There are several other measures which we've taken on pollution, and we saw that Delhi, this time that the debate will digress, but I'll still finish the sentence, that one day before Diwali, we saw the least AQI in 7 years, and one day after Diwali, we saw the least in 5 years. There are other measures too, Nidhi. We want to go into the EV policy, the transportation policy.
The point is, you've digressed on the issues in Gujarat. You've made it all about Hindu voters, haven't you? You made it a Hindu-centric campaign.
Nidhi, Manish ji, when he last went, he announced schools in 10 districts. He announced what will be the distance in those kilometers. He announced curriculum. All of those things happen too. You choose to only pick up one issue, which the question should really be asked of the BJP. What objection do they have if we are making this demand?
It's actually unconstitutional, which the BJP doesn't have to answer, and they won't. But
No,
anyway,
no,
I
it's
think you're
not
missing the point.
unconstitutional.
Yes, it is. It is. Please go read the Indian Constitution. Zainab Sikander, last word to you. Do you think this would resonate with voters? Ashutosh is not so sure.
It may not. I think the game that that Aam Aadmi Party is trying to play is that, look, we will give you governance and we are also better Hindus. And in a state like Gujarat, it may work, because you can't deny that Bharatiya Janata Party has been in power there for so long, because they've had a very high-pitched, Hindutva push there. So it may work for them, but I still feel Aam Aadmi Party will always lose against the BJP whenever, they try to play the Hindutva card. BJP is the champion in that league. And I also feel this is also an expansion of Arvind Kejriwal nationally. I don't think it is just limited to Gujarat. I think he wants to also pitch himself as a national leader, who has the majority, by his side. He wants to, slice into that vote bank of Modi, and also the people who are right behind Modi, like someone like Yogi, CM Yogi, who's also this Hindutva face, and, there are multiple people being groomed in the BJP. So to, give a proper reply as a Hindu candidate, I think Aam Aadmi Party has already started the who's a better Hindu, and, the Aam Aadmi spokesperson just said that, it is BJP who's actually anti-Hindu, and I think that's a laughable statement to make, because I think BJP has really established themselves, as the guardians of the majority. So it's a very clear old trick that Aam Aadmi Party is trying to tap into.
Well, as Ashutosh, I think, rightly said right at the beginning, that the question is, what is it that our political discourse has come to? for cynical political gain? And I think that's a question we'll probably be asking ourselves quite a bit in the run-up to these assembly elections and beyond in the run-up to 2024. Thank you very much to all of you for joining us. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back on the other side.